Hey everyone, welcome to Agno Builder series. This is the first video in Agno Builder series and I'm super excited for this. So to all those people who are new to Agno, what exactly Agno is? So it's a multi-agent framework, runtime and control plane, and it provides you ready to use fast API app, which is called AgentOS for serving your agents and workflows and teams in production. So you can basically deploy quickly in production and it gives you a major head start in building your AI product. So we have Brandon today and I think he's the perfect person for the first video in Agno Builder series. With this, Brandon, would you love to tell more about yourself?
Thanks, Nancy, for having me. I'm super excited to be joining you as the first within this Agno Builder series. I'm the founder at Orchid Automation. We are a boutique sales and enablement and RevOps and operations AI firm that work with some of the startups and VC firms within the space. Currently, I go by a go-to-market engineer, which is basically a new term for someone who can speak to sales, speak to marketing, and then build systems to productize their systems and processes, sprinkled on top and embedded inside using AI. And that's kind of what led me to Agno building today.
Thanks for joining us. Let's start with the basics first. So I would love to know in one sentence the project which you have made, which you're going to talk about in this Agno Builder series, which is Playbook AI. So can you tell what exactly it does?
Yeah, so Playbook AI is a product that I built. It's basically an intelligent sales playbook generator that analyzes both the vendor and the prospect's websites to be able to extract actionable advice and assets that we can use to be able to help enable salespeople, namely account executives and SDRs, be able to sell directly into those accounts with the most relevant information.
Awesome. And can you walk me through the reality of sales team? Because I think with this project, it really you're trying to make it easy for sales teams. So can you walk us through that process, the manual process, which you try to automate?
Yeah, absolutely. So the initial steps are pretty laborious, honestly, and this is something that the workflow tries to abstract away in this workflow, honestly. So as an AE or account executive, they often have to go, if they're being given a new account, they have to go to that website, understand at a high level and at a granular level what they do, who they sell to, what their pricing model is, what type of products that they offer. They have to just kind of understand what their competitors are doing and the job titles at that company that they would have to target in order to be able to make that sale. Now, once they get all that information, they have to understand then what at their company would be the most relevant product offering for that particular company. And then the process starts all over again. And then once they've done that, then they have to think about all the different personas and then what value props and emotional triggers for each persona at that target company that they would need to talk about and generate and be relevant to each one of those people. And then finally, draft emails to each one of these people and then make sure to follow up to each one of those persona types. And then maybe they can book a meeting. And then all this has to happen for each type of company that they're reaching out to. And so what this workflow does is it works to eliminate 95% of that entire workflow and through AI agents and through this agentic workflow that I've built through Playbook AI.
That's amazing. I mean, when you were just mentioning the whole process, I was just thinking about, wow, there's going to be a lot of documents with so much manual processing. There's going to be a lot of parallel work which a salesperson has to do, and I think it's one of the most important team in an organization. And if you can automate the manual process, it's going to be really helpful. Do you have some benchmarking which you might have done? I'm just, numbers have the impact. And I would love to know if you have done some calculations which can tell us how impactful this could be.
Yeah. I would say, I think about 68% is what a pretty common benchmark right now is that the number of time that a sales rep will spend doing non-sales activities. So that means not communicating with the client, not doing demos, not booking calls, not on the phone. This is all just prep work to get onto the call. So if this workflow that I've designed works to eliminate 95% of that time, which they can then recoup and translate to other more action-oriented tasks. So I would say for a 10-person team, for example, that is targeting, let's say, 50 prospects a quarter. That's roughly $2,500. That's roughly 2,500 hours annually spent on pre-outreach work. So at $50 to $100 an hour for each one of those people, you're looking at $125,000 to $250,000 in just wasted productivity if you're just spending 70% of your time doing pre-outreach work just across the 10-person sales team. Now, Nancy, you and I know that most people have more than a 10-person sales team.
Yes.
So, that just explodes exponentially depending on how many people you have within your sales org.
Yeah, that's huge number. I mean, that's the cost of not having the automation. Like, after hearing these numbers, I'm so excited to see the demo live. If you could just walk us through your project, that would be amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's go ahead and dive in, and then I will share my screen, and then let us take a look here. All right, so here we are within the Playbook AI, and currently we're looking at the main.py file. So this is the easiest file to really look at because it has all the steps and the workflows, and it makes it easy to just kind of understand at a high level how everything works. The way that I've structured this product, we've broken this up into several steps. So as I mentioned before, this workflow tries to emulate a lot of the manual work that an account executive has to do. So to begin and not get straight into the code, let's understand at a high level exactly how all this works. So if you look here on the left-hand side, I've got my steps directory expanded that allows us to look at and see everything that we're currently doing whenever we're running this workflow. So the workflow first looks at two companies. So we're looking at, let's just say this company called Octave and this company called Sendoso, for example here. Okay, cool, yeah, so looking at step one here. So we have just basically looking at each one of the domains that we're looking at scraping and analyzing, one of them being the company that we work at, and the other one being the company that we want to analyze. And so initially I wanted to be able to have a ground foundation based on what each company did. And that was part of the initial domain validation step, basically allowing us to use Firecrawl to be able to programmatically scrape and extract the text from each one of the domains so that we could have a very basic understanding just from the homepage on what each company did. And that is what the homepage scraping does here. And the domain validation just makes sure that both of the domains are reachable before we go into the homepage scraping. So homepage scraping then looks at each one of the homepages at a general level and understands exactly what each one does, and then passes that information to the step 3, which is the initial analysis. So we're using a lot of this starts off like having a very thorough process and then designing the workflow around that. And so first things first, we need to have 2 domains. Then we got to have make sure that both domains are reachable, and then we'll have to scrape those home pages. And then we want to do a little bit of analysis on each one of those home pages. So step 3 is big because we're going to analyze those home pages and then use Firecrawl's map functionality, which basically will look at each one of the websites and grab all of the URLs that are on that website. And so this could mean that we're grabbing their pricing page or their case studies or their products and features, right? We could look at their security things. And so whenever I built this, the initial goal was to make sure that it was adaptable to any type of vertical or any type of product that there might be. And so whenever we first do the initial domain validation and homepage scraping, the AI has an initial understanding of exactly what each company does, and then we're mapping everything so we have all the URLs. So now this all gets passed to step 4, where we say, hey, based on what we do and based on what this other company does and all the URLs that we have for each one of these companies, let's select the top say 10, 20, 30 URLs that are relevant to our company selling to the prospect company. And so it then returns those top 10, 15, 20 URLs that are most relevant to our company selling to that company. And then we do a batch scrape here within step 5. So that means that for all those URLs that we identified as being the highest likelihood of having some good data, we are scraping them, and then we have 6, 7, and 8, those steps, which are going to be the most crucial steps in getting structured output out of the data that we've been scraping and analyzing up until this point. So, any questions there just so far, Nancy?
This looks amazing. I mean, I do have a question, but it seems like you're basically building specialists which are running parallelly.
Yeah. So currently we have several different agents here that are supposed to be doing different things. And the way that I think about this is that we have 8 different go-to-market elements that we're trying to extract from the vendor side. And then we're also going to do, that's us, right, selling to the prospect. So we're going to build our battle card for selling to this particular person. And then we'll also, step 7 will be the prospect analysis, and then step 8 will be everything in between, including the email sequences. So step 6 here will basically do a lot of that. So there are AI agents here that will extract the case study, extract the offerings of this. And so like these are the steps here, and then we have the agents that are going to be up here. So step 6, which is right here, these vendor extractions, these vendor specialists here, each one of these are going to be the agents that we're calling to be able to do this. So let's take a look at the case study, for example. Currently, this is the case study extractor. And so this looks at all of the data that we've scraped on the vendor side, which is our company. And it's using an agent to be able to extract that information out. So all the relevant information, like metrics and the source, the challenge that particular company faced that was overcome by our software solution, and all the different things that it's supposed to be extracting using the case studies extract result. And this is a structured output that allows us to be able to map these back to like physical data columns if that were to live in a database or in a spreadsheet, all those things there. So for example, we can look at, I'm getting myself in a tizzy here, but if we go to models and then we go to vendor elements, you can see here the way that we've defined this particular data model. And so whenever we do ask the agent with that prompt from that data to respond back using this data model, this will it'll come back to us in this particular format, which makes it super easy to be able to verify that the data is actually there, and it's just consistent over time. And this is one of the things that I love so much about Agno, using Pydantic here to be able to declaratively define those models and have the AI agents just adhere to that has been super, super helpful. So this is where I have all the models defined, and just you can nest models inside of other models, so you can make some pretty complex data structures.
Yeah, so I think like with this, Brandon, I have a question. I think this is really going to help people who are watching this video, because you were able to break down the problem into different pieces. And then I think what I can see is like you have 8 vendor specialists which are running in parallel. So why did you, like, you can definitely have all this in one agent, but why did you break it into specialists instead of just, having one big agent?
Yeah. Let's dive back into main, and then we can look at the parallel aspect of this here. right? So we've got several different steps that execute in parallel. And so the point of that would be just to make sure that each one of the agents has a specific goal in mind. I think potentially, like you don't want to cross any wires, and everything has its own context and its own prompts and its own special instructions. And so instead of getting those things done sequentially, we can leverage the parallel nature of Agno and increase the speed also in which this workflow executes if we're able to process those in parallel. And so that is why I made that particular design decision, so that we could just make sure that the user experience, the latency, and the focus of the agents is set up for success to make sure that we're getting the best results possible.
That's awesome. So, yeah, that's really awesome. So, how did you basically deploy this? Maybe we would love to see it live, and you can maybe tell people like how did you deploy this?
Yeah. So deployment was super easy. So within my main.py here, if we go all the way down, and I've actually created a special file actually for this called serve.py. That will allow me to just package everything up into a fast API and have that run through Agent OS. So it was really, really simple. It actually took probably 5 minutes to get done. And this is really all that you have to do.
Yeah, just one line.
There's just one line right here. Everything else is pretty much done. And so once I run serve.py here, a lot of this is just printing and making sure that things are looking good. But if you look at the main app, like if you get rid of this and get rid of that, this is really it, right? This is everything.
Yeah.
Once we're outputting that and inputting this, that's all we got to do. So ideally, whenever we run serve.py here, we can see this particular workflow run, and then if we go to our local host, we should be able to see everything work just like it was. So let me go to our local host here, and I will go to the
That's so beautiful. It just gives a very major head start in spinning up things quickly, building the project so that you can just focus on the main problem statement and build the AI product.
Yes, it's been huge. I really, really appreciate how much of the scaffolding and just all of the like DevOps side of launching something is just abstracted away from the building part on Agno. A lot of my energy can be focused on designing the best workflow, implementing the best steps, finding the best logic, and not on where am I going to deploy it, what's the API going to look like how do I get this to Vercel or Railway. Like, I mean, it's all just one click and done. And that is so powerful. Yes, it's huge. It's really nice. Give me 2 seconds. Okay, cool. So I will go back to here and share. All right. Cool. Cool. So here we are within Agent OS on the web here, and we've got Playbook AI generator hooked up. It's currently running on my local host, but we can see everything running here within Agent OS on the web. So I'm going to go into the config, for example, and we can see the overall architecture of everything. This is really handy, just at a parallel, at a high level. Exactly what's going on. So we can see like there is a validation that happens, validating the vendor and the prospect. And then we're looking at the parallel home scraping where we scrape our URL and our prospect's URL. Then we're going to analyze each one of them to see what's going on, what did we sell, who were we about, and then grabbing their everybody's URLs. So we're grabbing our URLs, their URLs, and then based on what we currently know about each company, we're going to prioritize those, then batch scrape those so that we're grabbing all of them at the same time. It's an efficiency thing. And then for here, we're going to extract all of this information from our website, our offerings, our case studies, our proof points, our value props, customers that we've helped, and so on. And then we're going to then analyze then the prospect and their pain points. Then from here, we can identify buyer personas, generate their playbooks, and then everything that we need based off of our information. So the battle cards, talk tracks. Within the talk tracks, you'll also see in the outputs like some of the objections that a sales persona might have. Those are already tackled using AI. So we could say, hey, this CMO at this type of company might have these questions. And this is how we attack those questions based on the current knowledge that we have and all the ammo that we've come with from the parallel steps that we had before. And then ideally we have one final playbook then that has everything that we need that we can share, make decks on, and stuff like that.
Yeah. Awesome. That sounds a lot. And that's like a huge work, but it looks really useful. It would be nice to see this in action. Okay, cool. I can see vendor domain, prospect domain.
Yeah. So let's go ahead. Do you have any companies that you'd like to try?
Cool. I'm just thinking. Maybe, I don't know. What do you have any suggestions, Brandon?
Well, let's see. Who is Agno.com currently trying to sell to? Maybe Salesforce or something. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds good. Let's see.
That's a big company. Alrighty. And while that's working, I can maybe walk through what a final version of this might look like. That way the audience has an idea of what they could expect from this as it goes forward. As you can see, we've got the first step going, should go on to the second step and the third step. So here is one of the final outputs of what we would look at. So I'm going to make this a little bit bigger here, but so this is the sales playbook. The prospect's name we were trying to sell to was Salesforce. And we currently see that it was generated recently. I've been working on this, and so I prompted it to identify 3 personas for a particular product that we were trying to sell. So it identified a chief marketing officer, VP of sales, head of customer experience, identified some quick wins for these guys, and then we also generated a email sequence for the chief marketing officer. So we have a discovery call with this company named Sendoso that might be trying to sell to Salesforce. We have the 4 touches here, so with the objectives, and so this plays into the structured outputs that we can get whenever we do use the Pydantic models within Python and pass those to the agents. We can get structured data out of it. So this is an object here. This is an object here. This is another object for all the email sequences. So as you can see, like it's using some of their case studies here, how they were able to achieve a 15x ROI. We also have different calls to action that are called out for each one of these. Best practices, when to send it for the highest deliverability and receivability. And then we have this for all the other persona types too. So the VP of sales has the same thing. So the chief marketing officer also has the same thing. These are tailored to each one of these with discovery questions and the follow-up questions. And then we also have a script for each one of them coming in too as well. So this is also really cool. Depending on the persona type that you're meeting with, you could also have tailored questions for each one of those from CMO, the VP of sales and stuff.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
We also have, thank you. Yeah, talking points. There's a lot of really cool stuff here, and this is the discovery. So, and then these are the battle cards here. So they're saying, hey, they need to see the ROI first. This is the price objection. Okay, and then we have answers for those with proof points based on the case studies that we've extracted already further up the pipeline. So this company named Chili Piper had used this company Sendoso to achieve a 23x ROI. Pretty cool. And for other things as well. So like I can go on and on, but ideally everything that you would need as a salesperson, depending on what persona you're talking to, you have everything at your disposal to be able to go out and close that deal.
Yeah, that's really great project, Brandon. And honestly, I think now I can see how it can save so much time. Yeah, thank you so much, Brandon, for the demo. I think I just have few last questions. Okay, awesome. Like, what specifically about Agno and AgentOS made this project possible?
Yeah, I think being able to have such a well thought out product, as well as having super like a giant repository of great examples and actionable items that we could use and easily repurpose, has been super huge. As far as being able to build with Agno, the readability of the code is super clean, and that's in part also due to Python as well. Just very easy to come in as somebody who does a lot of vibe coding and a lot of like flow gramming, if you will. It was very natural for me to be able to come in and use Agno to build exactly what I wanted, and then be able to go in and verify that it's actually working because of the legibility of Python, as well as the constructs and abstraction that the Agno team has created within the library. It's been amazing.
That's awesome. And very last question before we wrap it up. So, if someone is watching this and is inspired to build something on production and they want to try Agno before seeing what you build, so what would your advice would be to get started?
Yeah, I went through and I started using Agno about 6 months ago. I would say the first thing first would be to go through the quick start guide. That has been super helpful for me to be able to just copy paste, make sure it works, and understand at a fundamental level like what's going on. And then that would be a great place to start. There also are the docs MCP, which has been super helpful for me as I'm building out other more complicated Agno flows and workflows and stuff. So leveraging the live docs as well within my workflows, like if I'm using Claude Code or Codex, have also been really instrumental in my ability to be able to iterate quickly and design more sophisticated solutions using Agno. So definitely, using AI to build AI, it's pretty meta, but that's what we're doing these days, and delivering outsized impact is something that I will continue to use and build on Agno for.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Brandon. And for the viewers, if you are watching this video and you really loved Brandon's project, so we are going to share the resources in the YouTube description, so you can check that out. And if you want to get started with Agno, you can also check that out. There are resources in the description. Brandon, if somebody wants to connect with you, do you have any socials where you would like them to connect with you?
Yeah, absolutely. So you can find me on X at it's a bit. I'll just drop it in the description here, but and then also on LinkedIn as well, Brandon Guerrero. So if you look at BM Guerrero as I actually tag that. So you can find me there. But yeah, happy to reach out and to talk further about agents and go-to-market. I love, breathe, and sleep this stuff. So it's just fun for me. So please reach out. I'd love to connect with you, and let's build something great together.
Yeah, let's build something great together. Thank you so much, Brandon, for joining us.
Of course. Thanks for having me, Nancy. Have a good one.